Master Bruce, now is not the time for doubt.
I can't do it. I can't stop them.
No, you can't. Not on your own, but it's high time you realize that you are a man, not an island. And a man's strength comes not from just brawn and intelligence, but also from his allies.
One alert. The Joker has escaped from his cell and is leading the riots at Blackgate. Repeat, the Joker has taken over the entire prison. Multiple casualties, multiple hostages. Again, we have lost.
No man is an island, but Batman tried to be one. Hey everyone, it's RH the Gamer back again with another video. Today we're going to be breaking down one of the deepest truths in Batman's story. A truth that isn't about Gotham or justice, but about us as men. In Batman Arkham Origins, Alfred drops one of the hardest truths that Bruce needed to hear. It goes a little something like this.
No, you can't. Not on your own, but it's high time you realize that you are a man, not an island.
You are a man, not an island. That's something that all men need to hear, including myself, because I've had moments where I've treated myself as an island, isolated from people that I really care about and people that really care about me. And so today we're just going to be breaking down what that whole statement means. What did Alfred really mean? And what does it have to do with your life right now? Let's dive in. Batman built his entire legend on isolation. The cave, the mask, the secrecy, the absolute refusal to let anyone in. Because to him, vulnerability was weakness. Opening up was dangerous. And honestly, for a while, it kind of worked. He had his own cool little thing going. He was Gotham's hero, Gotham's legend, and he was the boogeyman of all criminals. But here's the thing about isolation. It doesn't make you invincible, it just makes you hollow. In Arkham Origins, Alfred tries to break through to Bruce, reminding him that he's not a machine, he's just a man, and like all men, he bleeds. He hurts, and deep down, he has to realize that he can't do everything alone. But Batman thought cutting people off made him stronger. In reality, it just made him colder, more paranoid, and more broken. As men, we sometimes think that we have to go through everything alone. I don't know if every man thinks that, I just think that I think that, so I'm gonna assume that every man thinks that, and now I'm speaking for every man. As men, we think that our struggles, our pains, and our goals are ours, and we have to carry them, nobody else but us. We isolate ourselves thinking, if I just keep my head down, if I just keep pushing, if I just keep pulling through, I'll come out stronger. We distance ourselves from our families because we don't want them to worry. We don't want them to think that we don't have it handled. We don't want them to see us weak. We distance ourselves from our friends because we think they wouldn't understand. And then we distance ourselves from everyone, believing that true strength is walking through darkness alone. But here's the truth. Isolation does not build resilience. It just hides the deeper pain until one day it spills out in ways we can't control, such as anger, depression, regret, emptiness. Sound familiar? That does sound really familiar and really personal. I think that throughout the years, or throughout my, little adulting years, I've kind of expressed all those emotions because I've just kept myself isolated from my friends, just because I thought they wouldn't understand. And I think I've shared this story before, but I had a discussion with one of my friends and he was going through the exact same thing. And I was like, wow, why wouldn't I have done this, or why didn't I do this sooner? If I knew he was going through the same thing, I would have spoken up sooner, and we'd probably be able to help each other out and motivate each other to get better together, instead of just going through it silently, going through it separately, and just falling because we're not able to fight those battles alone. Batman thought distancing himself made him unstoppable, but it didn't. It made him vulnerable in the worst way, not to criminals, but to himself, to that voice in his head telling him he's alone and always will be. We pull away from our families thinking we're protecting them from our burdens, but All we're doing is removing ourselves from the one place that might keep us grounded. Because no matter how far you go or what mission you're on, coming home, whether literally or emotionally, is what keeps a man from losing himself completely. Batman never fully let himself come home. Even when he sat in Wayne Manor, his mind was still in the alleyways of Gotham. Alfred tried to pull him back. Alfred always told Bruce, "You're not a machine, you're a man." And being just a man means we need connection. We need moments of rest. We need to sit at a dining table, hug our mothers, dap up our pops, check on our brothers and sisters, not to be weak, but to stay human. Because the moment you sever your connection with everyone who loves you is the moment you stop fighting for anything. That's the moment you just start fighting to keep yourself numb. Recently, I watched a video from Abba and Preach that hit this idea perfectly. They talked about how men never talk about relationship maintenance. Not dating, but friendships, family, brotherhood, etc. They told the story of men who stayed in the same city for 30 years and went 30 years without seeing each other. Even though they lived in the same city, they died for each other. They couldn't call each other once a week just to check up on each other, just to say hey. Why? My answer is because I think that men often think silence is strength. They think isolation is masculinity. They think that not needing anyone makes you powerful. And this is all stuff that I think, so if I'm wrong, just let me know in the comment section below. Not needing anyone doesn't make you powerful. It just makes you alone. Going back into the Abba and Preach video, they said that you spend every day after work playing video games, scrolling on your phone, chilling alone, but you can't make time to call your brothers or your boys just to, see what's going on and what's happening, how they're doing. And then 30 years passed, and you're still sitting alone in that same apartment, wondering what happened to your life. Why am I so alone? Batman was that man. Now, although he's not sitting in an apartment, he's the man that never called back. The man that never really opened up to Dick Grayson, Barbara Gordon, or Tim Drake at first. The man who saw vulnerability as a liability. I remember when I was a little kid, I used to watch the Justice League shows, and there was this scene about Batman talking to Wonder Woman and explaining to her why he wouldn't want to be in a relationship, because he thinks that if his enemies know that he had somebody, he loved somebody, that they'd use her to get through him. In my mind now, that's just an excuse because he's operating off of fear. He's operating off of what ifs. He doesn't really know if all this stuff is going to happen because he hasn't tried. He finds it easier to make himself isolated because he thinks that's the way to protect people, but instead that just hurts the people that cares about him even more. The truth is, you're not an island, you're a man. And if you try to become an island, if you try to isolate yourself from your friends and people that love you, you're going to be beating up, not just by criminals or depression or loneliness, but by regret. Because in the end, if you saved Gotham and everyone in it, you would still die alone with no one on your bedside. So at the end, what did you really save? No man is an island, not even Batman, because an island is surrounded by endless water, unreachable, alone, and cut off from life. And if you spend your entire life building walls and moats around your heart, you might keep the villains out, but you also keep everyone out who wanted to love you. In the end, no man is an island, and if he tries to be, he will drown out in his own isolation. Alright, so here's some actionable steps or solutions to help you prevent isolation. If you care about your health, you invest in it. If you care about your money, you invest in it. If you care about your friendships, your brothers, your families, why do you think they would survive without your investment? Call your boys. Check in weekly. Just send a meme or a voice note. I know whenever I want to talk to my friends, it's a thought that develops in my head, and then I have that thought for a while, and luckily, I've been able to act on it before it's too late. But sometimes I haven't been that lucky. So make sure you're reaching out and talking to your friends whenever you think about them. Make plans. Don't wait for them to reach out first. I make plans a lot for my friends to hang out and my coworkers to hang out. I usually orchestrate the plans for us to hang out outside of work. So don't be afraid to shoot them a text and be like, hey, let's all get together and, play pool or play golf or something, just do something that makes all of y'all hang out, and don't be afraid to be the person that initiates that hangout. Be vulnerable. Tell your friends you appreciate them. Tell them you love them. One of my best friends is going away to another state, and I think I've done a really good job at telling him how much he means to me. Most of my friends make jokes like, oh, y'all should kiss, y'all should do this, y'all should do that. But as long as you're fine and you know that it doesn't really mean anything, it shouldn't really matter. So, Andrew,
Let's kiss.
maintain it like your health or your wealth, because it is your health and it is your wealth. Even Batman needed Alfred, Gordon, and the Bat family to keep his humanity intact. If you ever isolate yourself forever, you become exactly what you're fighting: cold, detached, and unfeeling. So today, remember this: no man is an island, not even Batman. And I just wanted to share a few thoughts with you before I go away. Before I made this video, I kind of got inspired by one of my, conversations with somebody that I just met, and I think has a really deep understanding of how she feels as a person. And, this video was born through that because I had to revisit it. I had already made the video and had edited it and all that stuff. And I revisited the script, I redid it, and this is the most vulnerable I think I've ever been, putting pen to paper and all that stuff. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys for watching the video. Have a great rest of your day. It's been RH the Gamer, and I'm signing out. Deuces.
For assistance.
They need you.
No. They need us.